Wow. Buenas tardes, ladies and gentlemen. Soy yo, tu conservative Nuyorican Peter Vasquez, aquí on the WISL Studios. It's always great to have my lunch with you. It is Friday, and check it out, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that today you are just going to find that time where you're able to just sit back for a second, let some tunes go in your head, and just let that stress go, right? Because after a long work week, we should not be going into Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday with any stress that has to do with work, right? That's why it's the weekend. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back. Pick up your finger, then pick up your phone, and then use that finger that you picked up and dial 346 3000. Why? Because I want to talk to you. We've had a great week. I was gone for the first couple or the first 3 days of this week, out doing the things that we got to do to win these races. Because look, I'm not running for fun, and I'm surely not running for my health. Which means that there's a lot of work to do, ladies and gentlemen, and I need your help. I need your help. Jim Vembretto needs your help. Tracy DeFlorio, Marcus Williams, Orlando Rivera, Kim DeRosa. The judges that are running. Am I missing anybody? Oh yeah, Luis Martinez, Greg Sadwick. Guys, listen, right? I know, and you've heard us talk a little bit about it on the show where we talk about it's the most important election. But you see, it is the most important election because these last 4 years, what's happened is what you is this accelerated plan, or at least what it seems like it, where it's just about government control. And I want to talk about that today, right? On Monday, I had Greg in with a great show with entrepreneurs on there. The Fit Chicks, I believe they're called, and they got a podcast you should listen to. On Tuesday, we had Jim Vembretto along with Tracy DeFlorio, both putting on a great show with great guests. And then on Wednesday, I asked my son's father-in-law, Larry Angel. Larry, if you're listening, thank you so much for coming on the show to have a conversation. And the thing is this, and I told you guys way back when I started this show 3 some odd years ago, right? Oh man, I'm going on 300 episodes. I think this is like number two. Oh man, actually, I think I'm at like 281 or 282 or something like that. And by the end of this month, we would have hit 300 episodes. Thanks to you. I'm telling you, thank you. But I told you a long time ago that dialogue is what we need, and there's not enough of that. And see, if you remember, I had a guest on named, it was, oh, Jeepers. I always forget his name. I'll look up his name again. I didn't write it down. But a phenomenal guy. And one of the things that he said was, the Republican Party is a strong Republican. He's a strong conservative, believes in American values, believes in God, country, family, not a political statement, right? All those things. And I asked him a little bit about, what do you think about our party? And he's like, the problem with our party is in a nutshell that, that we don't always know how to respond to something that the Dems are doing, and then we end up doing these typical conservative things, and then what ends up happening is that they beat us over the head. For example, when Trump, at the debate, when he talked about dogs being eaten in Cleveland, I think it was. Well, I've seen those videos, and those videos from some were for independent journals, and it probably is happening. But you see, when you say something like that, it's kind of like, whoa, what is he talking about? And it gets a little weird. So anyways, I agree with that. But with that, dialogue's important because in order for you and I to be able to connect with people that don't see or don't always understand where is it that we're coming from, we need to make sure that we're listening. And if we go into our own little closets and we go into our own little rooms and we go into our heads and we completely forget, then guess what? We're doing exactly what the other side is doing, which is trying to cut out every other opinion. And I'm a strategist. I've been a strategist for a long time. I've got my master's degree in strategy development. I take broken companies and build them up. Those are all the things that I love to do. And I even teach strategic leadership and project management. And one of the things that I tell my students is you need to listen to both sides. You need to address issues of race. You need to have that discussion on issues of politics, and you need to listen. See, you may not agree with them, but if you're not giving somebody of a different view the opportunity to share their view, guess what? There's no dialogue going to happen there, right? And quite frankly, at that point, I'm going to say, well, you know what? I think that conservative might be the problem. So listen, 346-3000. When I had Larry on Wednesday, he got a whole bunch of calls from you guys expressing your passion. I thank you for being kind. I even thank you for being passionate, right? Because we have to be. Okay, so 346-3000. I'd like your opinion on the show that we had on Wednesday. Let me plug a couple things here before we get too far. Tonight, right? Today is September 27th, Friday tonight at 6 o'clock at Jack's Place at the Chalet Country Club. We have that murder mystery dinner called To Wake the Dead. I'll be playing one of the roles, as well as all the Republican candidates that are running for state and local office. You've got to watch. If you want tickets, I don't think it's too late, but if you want tickets, call 585-314-1769. And then tomorrow night, as you guys may remember, my birthday was 10 days ago, or 10 days ago tomorrow. I turned 52. Gosh, I'm getting old. I turned 52 years old, right? So tomorrow night at Tropics over on Lake Avenue, 4775, right by the beach from 6 to 10 p.m., we're hosting a birthday bash, and check it out. All I'm asking for is $10 to help cover the cost. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, birthday bash 928 is today or tomorrow from 6 to 10 at Tropics. Try to make it. Yesterday I had a guest on, Dave DeFranco, the guy that came up with the concept of creating Veterans Plus Assistance Corporation. And they have on October 5th, which I believe is next week, their second annual Combat Comedians, right? This is a show, a fundraiser put on for Comics Against Cancer, for veterans that have cancers, right? So check out their website. It's VPAC. Actually, I don't see it here. But do a quick Google search for Veterans Plus Assistance Corporation. Dave, if you happen to be listening, give us a call and give us that website again. But VPAC is their acronym, and it's the Veterans Plus Assistance Corporation. October 5th is the Comics Against Cancer. That event's going to take place at 4:30. Or the doors open at 4:30. The show is from 6 to 8. There's going to be food from 5 to 6, a bar. It's going to be hosted over at the Italian American Sports Club at 1250 Buffalo Road. Beautiful building, beautiful venue. And hey, I'll give him a shout out too. For those of you that are catching us on social media, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please leave a comment. I would love to hear from you guys as well. Fred, thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. Hey, I hope to see you tomorrow night. And listen, don't let the $10 be a hindrance. Okay, come on down anyways. If you don't have $10, just say, hey, man, I don't have $10. And I'll say, I got you. All right. So, Fred, thanks for watching. Thank you. And Bob, just so you know, Fred says hi to you too as well. So, hey, yesterday, when I was doing kind of like those national observance things, I brought up National Situational Awareness Day. And this was yesterday's, but I think we should practice this every day. I wanted to take a couple more seconds to kind of hone in on this, because we live in a time that things have become scary. I know people that will not at all one way, shape, or form, make their way into the urban center or anywhere near around it. And I gotta ask, can you blame him? Now we're gonna talk a little bit about Hocus Pocus's nonsense that she came here again. The $24 million. We've got them claiming that shootings are going down, but that narrative doesn't seem to fit what we see. 346 3000. So look, situational awareness day. Let's talk about that when we get back here from break. Yep. Don't forget, you are talking with your conservative Neo Rican here in WSL 346 3000. Regresos en unos momentos. I'm going to finish up on that National Situation Day. More awareness of your area. Thank you. Welcome back to the Next Step Show. And hey, real quick, just a quick shout out to our sponsors, Ryan Murphy and Associates Real Estate Appraisals, top notch, full of integrity. Rock Auto Service from oil changes to major works, veteran owned. Flower City Collision, get a fender bender? Yep, call Flower City Collision. They'll straighten you out. And that is also veteran owned. And ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget the Coalition to Protect Kids and Why. Vote no on Prop 1. That is protectkidsandwhy.com. Welcome back to the Next Step Show, ladies and gentlemen. And before I go to this caller, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. And a quick tidbit in case you didn't know, Puerto Rico has the ability to elect its own governor and legislator, though the ultimate sovereignty and control over key areas like defense, foreign policy, and currency remains with that of the United States. And although Puerto Rico has representation in Congress, I believe, and I'm pretty sure this is true, they can't vote for anything. The Mike, thank you for calling the Next Step Show, señor. Muchas gracias. Uh, I don't disagree with you, and I'm glad you mentioned that because he was, in my opinion, as well, a phenomenal guest host. I think he held his own well. I think the fact that he had the cojones, I should say, to come on a conservative show, and there was no, he knew exactly what he was walking into, and the fact that he was able to handle some of the more passionate calls with, I mean, I think he did it with style. I think he was a great example of what leaders do, and regardless of opinion or political ideology. Mhm. Mm. Webster, yeah, Webster can be affluent. Absolutely. Mike, I truly appreciate the call, sir. I appreciate your take on that. Ladies and gentlemen, 346-3000. I'd like your opinion on that as well, or any of the topics that we're talking about today. Keith, if you're listening, I'd like to get your opinion on Wednesday's call or on Wednesday's host. I would also, if you listened, if you had a chance to hear that, there was a caller that called in, a lady, or at least it sounded like a lady. I'm not putting people in genders, but she sounded like a lady. I assume she was. Her name was female. But anyways, she was from the 14621 area code, the area code that I grew up in, one of the poor neighborhoods in the city of Rochester. And she's like, whoa, 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 hold up there, Mr. Guest Host, because I'm living right the consequences of these policies from the buffoon in the White House. I'd like your opinion on that, ladies and gentlemen. We've had people calling from all different places that day. It was phenomenal. On situational awareness, the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because statistics show me and my statistics, right? Believe them if you can, take it with a grain of salt. But a survey found that 46% of people admit to frequently walking or driving while distracted by their smartphones, right? When in I'm going to admit, I'm not the driving, I won't admit to that. But I've walked, and the crazy thing is that I've walked into other people. Now check this out. They were on their cell phone. I was on my cell phone. Boom. Next thing we know, we're hugging each other. Um, but if a police officer, a law enforcement officer, if programs like workplace safety, right? All of us who believe in the Second Amendment, all of us who believe in carrying our weapons for defense against tyranny of any form, right? Then this is why that day, and this is why it's so worth talking about situational awareness, right? Because when you take the time to undergo training and develop, like police officers, EMTs, military, right? All those people that do protection kind of stuff. If you take the time and just increase those awareness skills, your accuracy in responding with decision making increases by 60%. Rodney, thank you for calling, hermano. Super de duper. I'm assuming that's a rhetorical question, yeah? uh, mhm. Well, of course. I mean, this is the play on word that they use. Interestingly, here in Rochester, there's a radio station, a Spanish radio station that goes by mega. I believe that they're using that word in the sense of big versus make America great again, right? But listen, though, isn't this what they do with everything? I mean, look at the ERA, Equal Rights Amendment on Proposition One. Has nothing. It brings nothing equal. What about when we talk about abortion? It used to be pro-abortion, and they changed that quick to pro-choice because they can play with that. So now, interesting you say that. And again, I'm going to refer back to Prop One. I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at for this. But when you look at the language that they're adding, right, to that section, that will, like I've said before, make every single God fearing American, anybody with a different opinion than what's established by the government, overnight, you will be accused of discrimination. That- Absolutely. And thank you for calling on Wednesday. I believe I heard your comment that day. Ladies and gentlemen, 346 3000. And there is absolutely a play on words. And listen, again, we're going to talk a little bit more about proof is in the pudding, right? I just said we're heading in a direction that if this passes, we are going to overnight become discriminators and racist and everything else that they want to. But if you don't believe me, check this out, because I've said a million times. See, my opponent, the person I'm running for against for county clerk, the executive, the hocus pocus, the buffoon, right? They will fool you. And they'll talk about inclusivity and equality, even equity, so long as you agree with them. Soy yo, tu conservative New Rican. We'll be right back, right here in the Next Step Show on all the WYSL stations, far and wide. No te vayas. Oh, I do very much. For those of you on Facebook, I'll be right back. If you're on other social medias, I'll be right back. Hola, mi amigos on all social medias. I appreciate you hanging with us. I truly, wholeheartedly do. We'll be right back with the show. And I really want to thank you guys, though, because I know you're not hearing like the commercials or the bump music or the calls. So I appreciate that. And again, you can catch us at WYSL1040.com, right? You just go to the website, click on live, and you could hear the show. And if you want to catch some of the callers, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, check it out. Si te gusta la gasolina. Look, let this music, like I said earlier, just stop what you're doing. If you're done eating, just dance a little bit. Just move your body. Go wiggle, 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 and let that stress go. Here, 10 seconds of music. Ay, muchas gracias, señor D'Angelo. Mr. Keith, thank you for calling the Next Step Show, my brother. I don't disagree, and I'll tell you, all of us are echoing that message to him. Hey, I got a question to you, though, and I'm glad you called. Well, I'm assuming you heard the show based on how you're talking. There was a caller that called in, a young lady. She said she lives in the zip code 14621. She sounded Hispanic at least, and Larry wasn't. And I know that you and I go back and forth a little bit on how Hispanics don't, they just vote Democrat and so on and so forth. But I mean, there was a stark difference there. 14621 deep city, right? Right in the urban center, and a guy who lives where life is worth living and is white. Oh, did we lose Larry? Oh. Go ahead, Keith. I thought, yeah, no, go ahead. God, country, family. That's all that we need to bring back into that place. Senor Keith, I appreciate your call, sir. I really do. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. I appreciate your opinion. And he's right, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that I will do everything within my power to make our community a better community to the day that I take my last breath, whether I'm an elected office or not. But I'll tell you what, November 5th, ladies and gentlemen, vote Peter Vasquez for Monroe County Clerk. Hey, did you know that 50% of aluminum cans are recycled? Are recycled. 70 billion aluminum cans are recycled a year, I guess. But check this out, though. Recycling one aluminum can saves enough energy to power a TV for 3 hours or a 100-watt light bulb for 20 hours. Yep, it's worth to recycle. Today is National Crush a Can Day. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith isn't wrong. We've been talking about this. I talk about trickery all the time. Before break, I said, hey, we've got this whole mantra of inclusivity and equality and equity and all this other stuff, right? But they don't ever mention the caveat, kind of to Rodney's point. They don't use the words, right? They use those words, but they don't tell you the whole story. So check this out, right? Eric Adams, the 110th mayor of New York City, a former captain, I believe, in the police in New York City police. He was a captain, but he advocates for strong policing measures, which include things like stop and frisk. Right? He has more of a centrist approach to criminal justice, and guess what? The moment that he decided to express those, values. The moment he said, "Oh, hold up there, far left," which is what we have in the county clerk and in the county in general and in the state, right? He said, "Oh, hold up a second, far left. People are dying on our streets. Children are picking up arms on our streets, and no one's being held accountable." He said to them, "Your policies are hurting us." Well, now he is indicted. He is being charged with 5 counts that include wire fraud, solicitation of contributions from foreign nationals, briberies, and all these stem from allegations. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, don't be fooled, because that whole narrative that's coming at you is, hey, we believe in this so long as you do this, right? But let's look at this a little bit, because we got callers coming in. Woo-hoo! Wonderful. Let's take the first caller. Rich from Long Island, sir. Ahí siempre en la lucha, hermano. I can. Absolutely. Hey, Rick, I got 3 more calls coming in. If you don't mind cutting it, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off. I want to make sure you could finish your statement. Absolutely. Rick, thank you for calling. And he's not wrong. See, but I do want to point out one thing on Larry's defense. He did say setting Trump's policies aside. And frankly, I want to talk about that. Who do we got next? Diane from Leroy. Diane, we got to keep it short a little bit. That is an interesting point. Thank you, Diane from Leroy. I truly appreciate you sharing that with us. And she's not wrong. That is exactly where the problem is. Lorraine, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to hearing from you. How are you today, señora? ¿Cómo estás? Yes, please. Yeah. That they do. Lorraine, thank you so much for the call. Sorry, we got to go to break. Ladies and gentlemen, 346-3000. Mira, no cambie ese dial. We'll be right back right here on 92.1 FM, 95.5 West FM, and 1040 AM, the WYSL Powerhouse. We'll be right back. I tell him to keep it short. Is he the only one left? Thank you. Nah, I bet. No, I will do my best to do that. And I try to go from Spanish to English, but sometimes I talk fast, or there's just not enough time to do it. But I will definitely do my best on that one. Uh, uh, yep, yep. Hmm. Yes, that's 100% correct. Yep. It's either agree with us or you're just wrong. There's no dialogue for them. Uh, I appreciate that, sir, for the call. MJ, gracias for calling the Next Step Show. Hmm. Oh man, MJ, I'll tell you your question. I wish you called in the beginning of the show because we would have made a whole show. But I'll tell you what, the claim that I am putting, because I am putting a claim against the county clerk's office, is my candidacy to be your next county clerk office so that we can look at and deal directly with issues like that. MJ, I appreciate the call. Yep, I appreciate the call, MJ. I want to have you on soon, so I hope you call back and leave your phone number or send me a message on Facebook. Jose, thank you for calling the Next Step Show, but we got to be really brief. I, I truly appreciate your call, sir. And listen, the fact that you picked up the phone to call and say that just makes me even more excited to know that there's people out there listening, that there's people out there doing things. I mean, the whole purpose of the Next Step Show is to help us find that balance on faith, politics, and entrepreneurship, starting ourselves, our own corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, God, country, family, right? Be damned with the politics. It's that simple. From the Puritans to the different wars to the people that have all come before us to establish this great nation, right? So that the buffoon can be in the White House and say the nonsense that he says. All that came at a sacrifice. It didn't come at a sacrifice of skin color. As a matter of fact, when this country went down that road, many people like me, God, country, and God, country, and family did away with that. The 13th Amendment, unlike the buffoon that we have in office that says that all those amendments are optional. Balarkey. They're not optional. Oh my, oh my, oh my, ladies and gentlemen, I love ya. I love this country. I love this state. I love my beautiful wife. Yes, I do. Why? Because it's all about, it is all about you. Let's not forget, right? And I've only got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to go on my tangent here and I'll pick up on Monday where I left off. But you see, this is the deal. It ain't about the pigmentation on your skin. Don't be fooled. Don't buy into that. It ain't about anything other than the fact that you are an American under the Constitution. Mira, lo ha dicho un chojo de tiempos. Be a leader, sea un liderazgo. I'm sure I screwed that up. Be a leader, but hey, memorize it, say it with me, say it on your own. Leadership is the beacon that guides me. For it's through selfless service that I illuminate the way for others to find their greatness. Y nunca te olvide, aquí on the WYSL stations, see, La Voz de Libertad, the Next Step Show, the conservative New Yorker Peter Vasquez, siempre, siempre te amamos, and don't forget, God bless America. You too, my friend. To those on social